Eisenfaust an Lanzenschaft, die Zügel in der Linken, so springt des Reiches Ritterschaft und ihre Schwerter blinken. Heya, 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 und ihre Schwerter blinken. Heya, 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 und ihre Schwerter blinken.
Hello and welcome to Lex Orandi, Lex Credendi. I am Kenny and I am continuing on with the Baltimore Catechism. Lesson 1 on the End of Man. Part 1. The end of a thing is the purpose for which it was made. The end of a watch is to keep time. The end of a pen is to write, etc. A thing is good only in proportion to the way it fulfills the end for which it was made. A watch may be very beautifully made and a very rare ornament, but if it will not keep time, it is useless as a watch. The same may be said of a pen. If anything else, now for what purpose was man made? If we discover that we know his end, when we look around us in the world, we see a purpose or end for everything. We see that the soil is made for the plants and the trees grow in it, because if there was no need of such things growing, it would be better to have a nice, clean, solid rock to walk upon than we would be spared the trouble of making roads and paving streets. But things must grow, and so we must have soil. Again, the vegetables and plants are made for animals to feed upon, while the animals themselves are made for man, that they may help him in his work or to serve him for food. Thus it is evident everything in the world was made to serve something else. What then was man made for? Was it for anything in the world? We see that that all classes of beings are created for something higher than themselves. Thus, plants are higher than soil because they have life and soil has not. Animals are higher than plants because they not only have life, but they can feel and the plants cannot. Man is higher than animals because he not only has life and can feel, but he also has reason and intellect and can understand while animals cannot. Therefore, we must look for something higher than man himself. But there is nothing higher than man in this world. So we must look beyond it to find that for which he was made. And looking beyond it and considering all things, we find that he was made for God, to know him, to love him, to serve him, both in this world and in the next. Again, we read in the Bible that at the creation of the world, all things were made before man, that he was created last. Therefore, if all these things could exist without man, we cannot say he was made for them. The world existed before him and the world existed before him and can exist after him. The world goes along with any particular man, and the same may be said of all men. Neither was man made to stay here a while to become rich or to be learned or powerful, because all do not become rich. Some are very poor. All are not learned. Some are very ignorant. All are not powerful. Some are slaves. But since all men are alike and equal in this, that they all have bodies formed in the same way, and all souls that are immortal, they should all be made for the same end. For example, you could not make a pen like a watch if you wanted to write. Although pens differ in size, shape, etc., they have all one general form, which is essential to them. So although men differ in many things, they are all alike in essential things. That they are composed of a body and a soul and made to the image and likeness of God. Hence, as pens are made only to write with, so all men must have only one and the same end, namely to serve God. Who made the world? God made the world. The world here means more than the earth, more than is shown on the map of the world. It means everything that we can see, the sun, moon, stars, etc. Even those things that we can see only with a great telescope. Everything too that we may be able to see in the future, either with our eyes alone or aided by instruments, is included in the world, in the word world. We can call it the universe. Who is God? God is the creator of heaven and earth and of all things. What is man? Man is a creature composed of a body and soul and made to the image and likeness of God. Creature, things created. Man differs from anything else in creation. All things else are either entirely matter or entirely spirit. An angel, for example, is all spirit, and a stone is all matter. But man is a combination of both spirit and matter, of soul and body, is in the likeness in the body or in the soul. The likeness is chiefly in the soul. How is the soul like God? The soul is like God because it is a spirit that will never die and has understanding and free will. My soul is like to God in four things. It is a spirit. It really exists but cannot be seen with the eyes of our body. Every spirit is invisible, but every invisible thing is not a spirit. We cannot see wind. We can feel its influence. We can see its work. For example, the dust flying, trees swaying, ships sailing, etc. But the wind itself, we never see. Again, we never see electricity. We see the light or the effect it produces, but we never see the electricity itself. Yet no one denies the existence of wind or electricity on account of their being invisible. Why then should anyone say there is no spirits, no God, no angels, no soul, simply because they cannot be seen? When we have other proofs stronger than the testimony of our sight that they really and truly exist, my soul will never die, i.e., will never cease to exist. It is immortal. This is a very wonderful thing to think of. It will last as long as God himself. My soul has understanding, i.e., it has the gift of reason. The gift enables man to reflect upon all his creation, the reason why he should do certain things, why he should not do them by reason. He reflects upon the past and judges what may happen in the future. He sees consequences of his actions. He not only knows what he does, but why he does it. This is the gift that places man high above the brute animals in the order of creation. Hence, man is not merely an animal, but he is a rational animal, an animal with the gift of reason. Brute animals have not reason, but only instinct, i.e., they follow certain impulses or feelings which God gave them at their creation. He established certain laws for each class or kind of animal, and they, without knowing it, follow these laws. When we see them following their laws, always in the same way, we say it is their nature. Animals act at times as if they knew just why they were acting, but it is not so. It is we who reason upon their actions and see why they do them, but they do not reason. They only follow their instinct. If animals could reason, they ought to improve their condition. Men become more civilized day by day. They invent many things that were unknown to their forefathers, but one man can improve upon the works of another, etc. But we never see anything of this kind in the actions of animals. The same kinds of birds, for instance, build the same kinds of nests, generation after generation, without ever making change or improvement in them. When man teaches an animal any action, it cannot teach the same to its young. It is clear, therefore, that animals cannot reason. Though man has the gift of reason by which he can learn a great deal, he cannot learn all through his reason. For there are many things that God himself must teach him. God teaches, we call the truths he makes known to us in revelation. How could man ever know about the Trinity through his reason alone, when after God has made known to him that it exists, he cannot understand it? The same for any other mysteries. My soul has free will. It is another grand gift of God by which I am able to do or not to do a thing, just as I please. I can even sin and refuse to obey God. God himself, while he leaves me my free will, could not oblige me to do anything unless I wished to do it. Neither could the devil. I am free, therefore, and I may use this great gift, either to benefit or to injure myself. If I were not free, I would not desire reward or punishment for my actions, for no one is or should be punished for doing what he cannot help. God would not punish us for sin if we were not free to commit or avoid it. Turn this freedom to my benefit, or if I do what God wishes, when I could do the opposite, for he will be more pleased with my conduct and grant a greater reward than he would bestow if I obeyed simply because obliged to do so. Animals have no free will. If, for example, they suffer from hunger and you place food before them, they will eat, but man can starve if he wills to do so, with a feast before him. For the same reason, man can endure more fatigue than any other animal, and the same bodily strength. In traveling, for instance, animals give up when exhausted, but man may be dying as he walks, and still by his strong willpower forces his weary limbs to move. But you will say, did not the lions in the den into which Daniel was cast, because he would not act against his conscience, obey the wicked king, and offend God? As we read in Holy Scripture, refrain from eating him, even when they were starving with hunger. Yes, but they did not do so of themselves, but by the power of God preventing them. And that is why the delivery of Daniel from their mouths was a miracle. It is clear because the lions immediately tore in pieces Daniel's enemies when they were cast into the den. This has been the first part of the first lesson of the Baltimore Catechism. I will get to the second part in another video so that these videos will not be quite so long. However, I do suggest, as I will at the end of all of these videos, to get the Baltimore Catechism yourself. Also, the other catechisms of Council of Trent and Pius X, and the Catechism of St. Robert Bellarmine, and do the readings yourself. It's good to have somebody else read it to you, but you should also have it yourself so that you can reference. Until next time, Deus Vult.